both in therapy. So.
I mean, at this point, I feel like everybody has to be. You should all be. It's like going to the fucking doctor.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
I mean, I have friends who I'm like, there are people. I'm not gonna say everyone needs it, but I have friends who are like, I don't need it. I'm like, no, you need it. Like, I have friends who I'm like, you're holding some shit.
I also think it's like, now you're good, so now's the time to go and keep it that way. Let's not wait until you're fucked and it's irreversible.
Right.
Let's do a little maintenance here and just keep up with it.
Maintenance is the right word,
right?
for sure.
It's like going to the gym or whatever. It's like you do checkups for your body physically. Why don't you do shit for your brain too? But there's still a stigma, I feel like.
And it's also just like, it's you talking about your impact and relationship with people. So it's just good to be aware of that. It's just good to be like, I did this and I probably shouldn't have done that, and to reflect on that. And I just think it makes me a better human being.
Right. And I think it is good for comedy too.
Yeah,
either literally,
sure.
like sometimes your
Let's be
therapist
real. That's why I'm really in there.
You're working out material, right? You're working out bits. It's like, oh, okay.
Sneak bits in the
change
therapy.
That one.
So I was at the airport the other day. He's like, just get to the real.
At least get to the punchline so we can talk about this.
No, he's in a lot of bits. He gets it. I mean, he's cool.
You don't go. There's this one.
I go to Alan.
You go to the guy. Yeah.
A lot
He's
of
like the comics. That guy is either the greatest therapist or he's running a racket where he just got you guys to all recommend each other to.
He's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, but also isn't kind of the whole point like a little anonymity and all that? Like, if some other comic says I was in therapy the other day, it's like, are you talking to Alan?
Yeah, it is weird. I've definitely walked out and you see a comic waiting there and you're like, oh boy, here we go. You know, you want to be now I do it on Zoom, but like, yeah, it is weird to leave the room and see someone you know.
Hey,
I've definitely seen comics come out of there like, oh fuck, and they see my face. I'm like, I know you're not thrilled to.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not like I'm gossiping. I'm not like, you know who I saw. No. You know who I saw in tears
also
today.
There. It's like going to a bar in the middle of the afternoon. You walk. I'm like, who are these people who don't even have a job? And then I'm like, I'm here too. Yeah. You know, so you can't really throw stones. You're there fucking therapy as well, so we're all a little crazy.
And also, like, you know, I would never name comics names who don't talk about it. Like, I got wrecked by other comedians who are pretty open about it. It's funny to say you got wrecked, but it's like, I used to call the waiting room the green room because, you know, you see comics. I remember,
you got a rider to show up. I need to make sure I have the M&Ms and a fucking drink.
For sure. I used to wait. I remember I used to do a bit about this. I heard him laugh really hard, and I was in the waiting room and I heard him laugh really hard, and my first thought was, fuck, I gotta bring it today.
He's killing. Know? How am I gonna follow this act?
Exactly.
You're like, all right, we're talking about my fucking, my daddy issues today. Let's go. I'm gonna really bring the fucking heat.
I've run bits by him about like issues, and he's got a good sense of humor. You know, he gets.
You think is it like cathartic? Is it good for you to joke about your shit? Or is that?
Oh my God, yeah.
That's kind of what I meant in a podcast. I get
it makes you feel better. It also makes if you're doing bits, like Taylor's so good about this. Taylor will joke about such personal stuff that that it like really helps people, I think. And you know, I'm more of just
relatability.
I'm more of like an escapist, kind of just silly jokes or whatever. But I'll do occasional stuff about my biological dad, and people are like, this made me feel better about I think anytime you feel like seen or heard in some kind of bit or a movie or anything, you're like, oh, that's cool that's also, I feel like I connect to something. It's cool.
I thought the easiest, simplest joke I think you tell is something along the lines of like, if you have to call him your biological father, you're probably not in a great spot with him.
Yeah.
Everyone else just calls him my dad, my father.
Another one that people liked was like I remember I went to his apartment the first time I met him, and he was petting a cat, and I was like, what's up with the cat? And he said, I rescued her from the side of the road and I nursed her back to health. And I was like, so you did have it in you. That's
where was that one for me,
yeah.
dipshit? What happened there? Like, just went wrong when you were younger, and then you reconnected?
Yeah, we reconnected, and I was raised by a great dad, so I feel like people get sad. I'm like, no, this is just what happened. Like, I had a great childhood, so I think it's another thing where, it's like you took
his name as well, right? Or
your
mom's name or the stepdad's name?
Stepdad's name, but I call him Dad. He's my dad. Legally adopted me, which he's a lawyer, so he's like, we'll go to court, we'll make it official. Like, he wants everything to be very, and I've talked to other people. My favorite joke about this, by the way, Joe DeRosa has a joke about I'm not adopted. The term is legally adopted, but I was raised by my mom and then stepdad. But Joe DeRosa was full on adopted. The comedian, great joke he has is people always say, "You ever try to find your real parents?" And I go, "No, I took the hint actually." It's perfect.
I don't want to be desperate and I want to be clingy.
But no, I had a great childhood. He's a great dad. So that was the other thing where, I don't want people to get sad. Well, I think their first date was probably, I was like 4 or 5, I think, and then they got married at like 7. I was like 7.
So you don't really have memories prior.
No,
right?
I mean, I see. It's funny. You see pictures of just me and my mom, like, oh, that kind of like there's like blurs, but no, I don't really. No, I don't think anyone really remembers.
And he was just out of the picture, like he was. Gone.
Yeah, he just wasn't around. Yeah. But I, but then I have a stepbrother and stepsister, and they're like all. It's funny. They're just so. Accomplished, and so my brother's at the DA's office, my sister's a litigator. They're like very.
Bro, I mean, you're selling yourself short here.
No, I know, but I think that's how you always see yourself. I'm the baby, so I think I always saw myself as like I can't live up to like.
And it is funny because it's very different. Like you're accomplished, but it's you're a clown. I'm a joker.
They're leaving law school. I was going to an open mic at Maui Tacos.
Yes.
So yeah, there was definitely a feeling where I'm like, I'm shit.
But I'm sure there are times, I think that what you do, I think that what comics do is truly the most like impressive thing in the world to be able to make a room like feel and laugh and
fuck Navy SEALs.
Yeah,
dude.
fuck Navy SEALs. Fuck the social workers of the world, the people fighting wars, saving babies. I'm much more impressed with the
social workers. It's funny. My therapist will always say, because I'll say sometimes I'm tired. Relationships take so much work, and he's like, well, sometimes giving can be energizing. And I my first thought was like, well, you never see a fucking energized looking social worker. No. You know what I mean?
They someone just takes and takes and takes. No, thank you, man.
I don't know.
So in that regard, like, it sounds like you said, you had a great childhood.
Yeah, I did.
And I've always just tried to put myself in that spot where it's like, if you have a problem with a biological parent and your life is shitty because of that, obviously, I think there's a lot more issues to be had. When things are good, though, do you still do you have thoughts of like, well, do you have the thought of like, why didn't you come around, or was it me, or any of that kind of shit?
Yeah, I think
don't care, man. Whatever.
No, I think it's healthy to have those thoughts.
Like the Fresh Prince, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Well, how come he don't love me, man? That's you. You are like the New York Jewish comedy version of Will Smith.
Yeah.
I learned how to tell some pretty good jokes without him, didn't I? Yeah, that's right.
And and he was a judge, the dad. So
yeah, there you go. You were living that life, man.
But I really liked. I think part of being anyone in entertainment, I think like in some way did not feel seen. So I think that's a way where you're like, you didn't see me, you didn't get. So I think there is some need where you need to be on a stage or need to be in front of people and show that you have value. I think there's some deep-rooted self-esteem issue.
Right.
With most, I'm sure some people just like to perform, but with a lot of people, I think that's the case. They just did not feel seen in some way or another. And you feel accepted by strangers. You're like, see, I have value. I'm good. So I think there's something there for sure.
Yeah. Even if everything else is good, it's like even if subconscious, there's some thought of like, I don't know, why did you choose? Why did you choose not to?
Sure, but I also do feel accepted by my family.
Everybody else, yeah.
Yeah, and I do think my mom is an artist, and my mom.
She's funny, man. She's got like she's cool. She's got her own like comedic timing when you guys do those Instagram bits.
My mom is funny. She really is, and she's very smart and cool, and she has a good sense of humor. Like we would watch things. It's cool to have a mom who's open-minded. Like we would watch Simpsons together as a kid, and she would like get it, which is cool. Like I think moms will sometimes watch shit with their kids, but my mom like got
the punchlines,
how intelligent.
The layers to this shit.
I think some people write off animated shows. Like I really do. I think people don't.
Some of it's like the most brilliant shit out there.
Because you can go anywhere.
Like
that's
there's no boundaries.
That's why like a show like Rick and Morty is so amazing to me.
You know what it is too? It's like you can go anywhere, but you have to keep it like tight still. You can't go too crazy because then it's all over the place.
Exactly.
So you have no boundaries, but you got to like set your own boundaries, and that's a whole.
Like being a comic, kind of like right. Like no one's gonna tell you what. Like I do feel like we're like freelance workers still. So no one's gonna tell me that I have to write every day. No one's gonna tell. Like I have to hold myself accountable to do this stuff. And a lot of us have horrible ADD. A lot of us lack discipline. So that's tough for sure.